Hey guys, welcome back, and to all my new subscribers, a big welcome to my channel. Another video by jmadden184 coming at you from week 11. It is now day 77 since we went ahead and put in the deep sand bed into the 60-gallon system and redid the rock work and everything and setting up the sump the proper way. And all I can say is I really couldn't be happier right now. Aside from the aptasias that are in my system, other than that, I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with overall. Today, I went ahead and did the first water change on the tank. I don't really think I really needed to, but I just went ahead and did it. Switched out roughly 8 gallons or so. The salt mix that I use is Instant Ocean Reef crystals, and as you know, the water that's been in the tank is the same water that I used from before we went ahead and redid the system, so that was like some really old water. There was no signs of any kind of cloudiness or yellowness to it. Really clear. I think a lot of it has to do with just running some carbon and having really good nutrient export in the system. So I just kind of wanted to, before I get into all the corals and stuff, I want to kind of let you know how I went ahead and when I did the water change, how I cleaned up my sump and my refugium. As you guys know, I got the skimmer section here, and down here in this area on the bottom you get a lot of detritus buildup. Also the refugium is bare bottom as well, and I was getting a lot of detritus going on in there as well. Kind of what you're seeing here is just a little bit of sand from whenever I put this rock in here. Back when we redid the tank, some sand sticks to the rocks, whatever, but it's down here. As you can see, the bottom's pretty clean. I didn't scrub anything or anything like that. What you're kind of seeing on the bottom, a lot of it is like little worms and little feather dusters and stuff. So I mean, there's a little bit of dust in there still, but nothing too crazy. So I want to kind of give you all a tip. If you have a system set up similar to the way mine is, this can really help out and really make things easier for you when you clean your sump. Normally what you would do is you just kind of put a hose in here and kind of siphon it out. I decided I didn't want to do that, so what I did was the hose that's right here, I just went ahead and I shut everything down, shut down the return pump. Return pump's here. I went ahead and disconnected this hose, and I took the hose and brought it over to where my filter sock is. You can see it just right back there is where the filter sock is, behind the skimmer. And then I went ahead and turned the system back on, the return pump. So the water was just inside here, and the main display was completely isolated. Then what I did was I have an extra Coralia, and you might actually be able to see it because I just kind of leave it in here. Don't use it yet. See it back there? So what I did was I went ahead and removed my Chemi-Pure and stuff in here out of this chamber, and removed the foam pad, and I just went ahead and turned on the Coralia, and I just basically used it to kind of mix around this section here, mix around in this section there, and then kind of over here. And I mean, this whole thing was cloudy. I mean, you couldn't see anything through it. It was just, it was bad. But after about 10 or 15 minutes, it all started settling out, and my filter sock became completely full. Luckily, before I did this, I kind of knew what was going to happen, so I washed all my filter socks, and I replaced it when I was finished. But as you can see, the end result is, it's nice and clean in here. It's very non-invasive. One of the other things that I did too, which I failed to mention, was I actually removed all my chaetomorpha, and I stuck it inside of like a pan. The kind of pans you use to like cook a turkey in, something like that. I had one of those, sterilized it, and my whole mass of chaetomorpha just came out in one giant clump. Took it out, set it in there, because I didn't want all the detritus to get kicked up and get stuck inside of the chaetomorpha, because that would kind of defeat the purpose of cleaning it in this way. So I just figured I'd share that with you guys. Hopefully it can help some of you out. or you guys can kind of modify that technique, you know, to your own liking, to the way your system is set up. Worked really well for me. So up here with the all the fish and everything, fish are doing great. As you can see, you know, the yellow tang, the clowns, the true perks over here. You know, they don't really have anything to host in, but at night what they do is they come down and they kind of get hosted by the bubble coral a little bit. And down here you'll kind of see all this is kind of kicked up. Yeah, they just kind of hang out in this section right here, kind of hang out around in here. So they like it, you know, they feel safe and everything like that. So we'll kind of get into the some of the corals, you know. This one up here was one of the new ones that you saw in the last video. It's doing great, a little bit of growth going on. Color staying strong, polyp extension's really good. The Acropora is doing really well, still growing like a champ. As you can see behind it there, the Blastomosa Wellesley doing really good. I had to move it because it was over here, and of course Aptasia started irritating it. And I was moving a couple things around. In this section here, you remember the Monty cap was in there. I went ahead and I moved it down to this section here. The reason why I did this was, I mean, if you kind of look at it, you notice that a lot of the new growth is this much brighter color than the rest of the coral. I have a feeling that the lighting up top there and the way this coral was kind of positioned, it was sitting kind of inside this crack, so it wasn't getting a lot of light. So I put it down here, and I'm kind of curious to see if the whole thing will color up the way the new growth is. So we'll have to see on that. The other SPS that I got in here, I put it down here too. I just wanted to see how it reacts to a little bit less lighting, I guess you could say. The par value is lower down here, obviously, than up on top on the rocks. The polyps on it weren't really coming out that much. With it being down here, there's a little bit more polyp extension, so I'm happy about that. The Spongiodes doing okay. Seems like some of the fluorescent green is kind of going away. I'm not really sure why, but we'll see though. The polyps still come out really well, so maybe it's just changing to the lighting. Can't be for certain right now. The mushroom up here recently split. Got 2 mushrooms up there now. What else is going on? Yeah, the Duncans over here, they're doing really good. Nice and big. Palithoa grandis doing good as well. Tyree toadstool doing the same as it always has, looking fantastic. Clams are doing really good. You know, with some of my dosing, my trace elements, I also dose a little bit of magnesium every once in a while. No certain amount, just whenever I kind of feel like it. It kind of comes to mind, I just put a little bit in. The Acan Echinata is doing really good. The other Blastos here, these guys just look awesome. Nice and huge. I moved them up here closer to the front of the tank because when they were back there, you know, as you know, the clowns were kind of hanging out in this area at night and they were just kind of getting buried, so save that coral some stress. All the Acans are doing really good. I might have to move this little rainbow one. I think it's getting a little too much flow, but it's still big and puffy. Seems to be doing well. And all these ones are good, doing good. One in the back there also doing well. Candy canes, no complaints, except for this big old Aptasia back there. What can you do? Hopefully these nudibranchs get to work. Lobophilia. This coral is just, man, like I don't know if like the skeleton's really growing, but it really seems like the actual polyps on it have just gotten massive within the last couple weeks. There's the camera turning all blue. Man. Every time I try and get a shot of this chalice, but chalice is doing the same as it was. Let's see if we can get this to balance out. No, not quite. There we go. Yeah, the maze brain's doing really good. The scalemias, Australises are doing excellent. I don't know, I'm just really impressed with these corals. Good quality pieces, really healthy, great feeding response. It's one of the things I noticed is, really try and get your corals to feed when you first get them in your system. That first night, especially these LPS type, try and get them to take some food so they can get that boost, to help them through the whole acclimation process, and it really does wonders. I've done it with a lot of my corals, and it kind of gives them a little head start in acclimating and settling in because they're using up a lot of energy. Trachophilia radiata, big. Tyree blue chalice still growing. I need to get it mounted on a rock soon. Come on. White balance, there we go. The orange torch is doing excellent. One thing that happened was whenever I had moved the frog spawns that belonged to the perks, they didn't really have anywhere to go, so the first thing I decided to be hosted by was this, and throughout the course of the night they'd just been like messing with the sand so much around it that it actually fell over, and in the morning I found it on its side. Luckily it didn't seem like it'd been that way for too long, so I stood it back up and it's almost as full as it originally was in the last video. So that was a close call. Anything lays on the sand for too long, it's just no good for it. All the mushrooms are doing great. These Redactus over here just splitting like crazy. These ones down here too, these Recordia Floridas. And then I wanted to also show you another update on this little thing that's growing over here. The pink purple thing. I'm thinking it's some kind of algae of some sort, but nothing's really eating it. It's starting to kind of branch out, and it's, it branches in twos. A little piece will shoot out, then it'll split, and it'll keep splitting. And the other one is right there, underneath that hermit crab. Favia's doing great. I was kind of moving some corals around, trying to find better placement for them, and I ended up putting them all back in the same spot. And when I lifted this one up, it's got some new growth all over it around the edges. It's starting to fill back in over this spot here, and along the back side you can't see it, but it's growing nicely. Hammer coral's doing good. The little male clownfish has been trying to get the female to follow him into another one of my Euphilia. Hopefully she keeps giving him the cold shoulder because I don't want him in them. They put a beating on my frog spawns over time. And ever since I moved them away from it, the frog spawns are doing great, as you can see. Really good polyp extension, nice and healthy. I'm pretty sure they're immune to the aptasias at this point because when I turned off all the pumps and did the water change, they were just laying right on the aptasia, and neither one was sticking to the other one. They were just kind of repelling each other in a way. The gold tip torch is doing great. Rose bubble tip anemones are doing awesome. The maroon clown is doing great, eating like crazy. I feed all my fish New Life Spectrum pellets and a combination of other meaty type foods, and this one eats it all. Lobo down here is doing good. These candy canes are just massive. The feeding tentacles on this coral, I'm going to try and get a shot of this tank in the night somehow, maybe with like a red lens on a flashlight or something, because you guys got to check out the way some of these corals look. I mean, they look wild. Symphilia wilsoni. Ooh, nice and bright. Yeah, it seems to be doing okay. It's actually starting to puff up a little bit more because it actually receives a little bit of shade from this frog spawn up here. Wow, that's really not focusing correctly. So we'll see how it does. I mean, like I said, it doesn't seem to be getting any better, but it doesn't seem to be getting worse either. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the tank, here on day 77. I'm just really happy with the tank, I'm kind of upset that I'm going to actually have to tear it down when I set up the 90-gallon tank, because it's just doing so well at this point. So yeah, any comments you guys have or any kind of questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to respond to them. If I don't know the answer, I'll find it for you guys. That's what I'm here for. Appreciate all the support. If you like my videos, go ahead and give them a quick like. Appreciate it. This is going to be jmadden184's signing out. Until next time, happy reefing. Take care, guys, and have a good weekend.